Joining us now exclusively, attorney Robert Barnes, who is providing his services pro bono for the students from Covington Catholic High School. It's my understanding that they are not being named, sir. Why?
The reason is to protect their anonymity. So you had someone like Kathy Griffin who called for them to be doxxed, called for them to be named and shamed. Many of them were doxxed in their local community. They received threats over the phone, threats through email, threats to their homes, threats to burn down their school, threats to their lives. You had Hollywood directors putting their physical bodies through shredders and posting that online. So because of the kind of threats they've experienced, the goal is to protect their anonymity as minors so that they're not further attacked and subject to further threats. And the law allows that to take place.
The lawsuit against the Washington Post, though, was dismissed. How do you think this one can proceed?
There are really two different claims. So the lawsuit against the Washington Post was brought by a different lawyer who had a different legal theory. What the Washington Post did is they reported certain false statements. But when we requested on behalf of the clients that I represent that they print a correction, they did so. And in Kentucky, under Kentucky law, they treat institutions as different than individuals. That's part one. And part two, the Post didn't issue the defamatory opinions of the people that we sued. And the Post did issue corrections in ways that none of these defendants did. The reason they're being sued is because they used their big platforms to lie and libel about these kids and have refused to issue any correction at all.
Let me read a couple of those tweets that have you so upset. First of all, from Kathy Griffin, the comedian. The reply from the school was pathetic and impotent. Name these kids. I want names. Shame them. If you think these blank wouldn't do it, wouldn't dox you in a heartbeat, think again. And then from Matthew Dowd, folks, let us not let these kids, their parents, and their school off the hook, regardless of what led up to this. This is awful. S.E. Cupp, conservative analyst over at CNN, wrote this. She said, hey, guys, seeing all the additional videos now, and I 100% regret reacting too quickly to the Covington story. I wish I'd had the fuller picture before weighing in, and I'm truly sorry. That's the kind of thing you want the others to do?
Oh, precisely. Even Congresswoman Omar, who's never had a problem with the kind of words she's chosen to use, has almost never retracted any of her rather interesting statements over time. Even she issued a retraction and a correction within an hour of our request. All the institutional press covered the fact that an independent investigation completely cleared these kids of any wrongdoing. They did nothing racist. They weren't taunting or harassing anyone. They thought he was participating with them initially from what took place. They had no idea that they would have this social media lynch mob led by people like Maggie Haberman, a lead political reporter for the New York Times, or Senator Elizabeth Warren, who is right now one of the leading candidates for the Democratic nomination for the presidency, both of whom refuse to delete or correct or retract or issue any apology for their false statements about these kids. Kids they didn't know about an incident they never saw or witnessed.
Elizabeth Warren, her tweet was covered in Alicia's report. I wanted to read one from Deb Haaland, the congresswoman from New Mexico. She writes, a Native American Vietnam War veteran was seen being harassed and mocked by a group of MAGA hat-wearing teens. The fact that she's a member of Congress, does that not give her some protection?
There's a common belief out there that the Speech and Immunity Clause, which also has a statutory component, immunizes congressmen and senators. But there's a famous case that came up involving the Sundquist case, where they said that you have to be within your official duties to be immune. So the senator from Massachusetts, Senator Warren, the congresswoman from New Mexico, were not acting within their official duties when they decided to lie and libel some kids from Kentucky. And so I think that's what the law will hold, and I think that's what the courts will find.
If these people were to apologize, the senator, the congresswoman, if they were to apologize and issue some kind of a retraction, would that be enough for you, or would the suit go on?
The suit at this point would likely go on, but we are offering remedies to each of them. We're receiving support from the Free America Law Center, which is helping court costs and things of that nature. So there's going to be some items they need to pay as part of that settlement process. But the families still remain open to people coming to terms with what they did, correcting what went wrong, so that it doesn't happen to any other families or any other kids in the future.
Robert Barnes, the attorney representing the Covington Catholic students. Robert, thank you.
Thanks a lot.